On March 7, 1965, protesters tried to march from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery to win the right to vote.
Saying that this is an unlawful assembly, you have to disperse.
The event, known as Bloody Sunday, is a major landmark in civil rights history.
The side of that story that the national media picked up was the Selma part of it, but actually the origin of it was in Perry County. The political leader in Marion and Perry County, who was the architect of this movement of martyrdom and political activism, was Albert Turner Sr., who became a major political power and one of the first generation of black belt black leaders.
We had got about like the white folk are. We had decided that we was gonna get killed or we was gonna be free. I'm gonna be frank about it, and all of us just about felt that way.
Albert Turner was a courageous man in terms of being willing to organize and lead a civil rights movement in Perry County in the mid-1960s. All over the South, African Americans were being shot and killed for doing the things Albert Turner did.
My father was a giant of a man, very modest individual, very low-key. His legacy was one of respect. People respected him, respected his opinion.
Albert Turner Sr. was a Perry County political leader for over 40 years. The Turner name means everything here, especially in Marion, the county seat. When he died in 2000, his son, Albert Jr., took over his seat on the county commission.
It's incumbent upon me to make sure that I do not do anything to tarnish or betray the legacy that my father left me.
Perry County was once one of the 100 richest counties in America. Now, it's among the 100 poorest.
The major economic infrastructure in Perry County for a long time was based on agriculture. It was either farming or there was a cannery, there was a textile mill, there was a cheese plant, different things that tied in with all the agriculture that was booming here for a long time. It's been 20 years since agriculture went south and nothing has come along to replace it. If you have a job at all around here, you're pretty lucky and you probably work pretty hard to get it.
Sylvester? It's once a week, you know.
It's just once a week, 1, 2?
It's a little help, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't no construction work, ain't nothing going on now.
Nothing going on around.
Nothing.
The only new industries here are the private prison and the landfill down in Uniontown at the southern end of the county.
We don't have a lot of the natural resources that some other counties have in order to be prosperous. But what we have got and have had is a good environment. We've got good water and good air and good dirt. And so far as the people, I wouldn't trade them for anybody. Now, all 4 things there are in danger.
The danger began almost a year earlier. 350 miles away, up in Kingston, Tennessee, a retaining wall broke at the Tennessee Valley Authority's power plant, spilling out 1 billion gallons of coal ash. Coal ash contains toxic pollutants such as arsenic, lead, thallium, and over a dozen other heavy metals. River water tested at the site showed elevated levels of these toxins, which can cause birth defects and nervous system disorders. The EPA's own study found that exposure to coal ash through contaminated air or water increases risk of cancer. Yet, The EPA classifies coal ash as non-hazardous. Local residents still demanded that TVA move the coal ash out of their community.
Sometime in May, Travis, who works for me, had been visiting some family in Tennessee and picked up a copy of a newspaper up there. And there was a story in it that mentioned some of the coal ash from this Kingston disaster might be going to a landfill somewhere in central Alabama. We knew right away that that was probably ours. And we went ahead and ran with the story that week. Of course, we had no way of really knowing that at the time, but it turned out to be right.
The waste will travel by train from the white suburbs of Tennessee to a black impoverished community in Alabama.
Perry County is not going to continue to be at the bottom. We found a way to crawl out of the bottom, and hey, we on our way up. Glory be to God that we was able to hit this landfill deal and hit this coal ash.
If you're a county commissioner, if you're Albert Turner Jr., and you're desperately trying to get some sort of economic activity in a desperately poor county, you grasp at any straw. And if that straw happens to be an environmental polluter, a landfill, with all sorts of environmental risk, you say, bring it on, because that's 20 jobs, 30 jobs.
The waste will bring in more than $4 million in fees, doubling the county's budget. Hundreds of residents applied for the new temporary jobs created by this deal.
The concerns that I have is that I got these many people unemployed in my county, and that now I've found an opportunity to help ease that unemployment and have a livable wage to work for. Perry County led the way in the 1960s in the field of civil rights and voting rights. We are now poised to lead the way in environmental safe disposal of coal ash.
Any complaints from any of the residents?
We've had one female who has come to the commission meeting, and she didn't complain to us about receiving coal ash. She complained about how much coal ash would be coming in.
But Commissioner Turner and the EPA had held public hearings, packed with folks worried about the coal ash.
You can't find 10 people in Uniontown other than these officials that want that ash down there. I went to one of the meetings, and I stood up to ask a question, and I was shouted down by one of the commissioners. The person that shot me down was Commissioner Turner, which of course is probably no surprise to anybody.
We did our homework. We had a TVA scientist. We went to Kingston. We've done everything to make sure we live here too. So I'm not crazy enough to bring something here that's going to kill me.
The concern that I have is not necessarily that this coal ash is going to somehow give everybody in Perry County cancer. It's more that if it could, I don't think anybody would tell us about it.
The fight between the public and Commissioner Turner didn't start with the coal ash. It began nearly a decade before, when the landfill was first proposed.
Perry County Concerned Citizens basically came about from a sense of need, and a lot of folks in this area who maybe in the past weren't so unified or maybe not even cordial came together because they were united by one purpose, and that was opposition to this landfill.
Banberg knew he needed the help of a black preacher to rally residents against the landfill.
I can't lie to my congregation. And I think all down the line, our host governor has been lying to us.
After the spill in Tennessee, officials at every level of government quietly rushed to dispose of the coal ash. All but one of the commissioners supported bringing the waste to Perry County. The Alabama Department of Environmental Management changed the landfill permit. Within weeks, the first test shipments arrived. By the time the EPA came to hear people's concerns, the deal was done.
In the case of Perry County, the people on the ground didn't have a chance. It was not a vote. It was not a referendum. It was a decision that was made, deals that were cut by the county commissioners in TVA and EPA. That's not democracy. That's basically a dictatorship.
It was said that it was in a rural, sparsely populated area, and I contend that in all of Perry County, with the exception of downtown Marion, the county seat, there's no more populated an area than in the 2-mile radius around that landfill site.
We've been drinking this water for the last 68 years. People have always relied on a well like this, but like I say, I don't know what that water might do in the long run. I don't want this beef contaminated. When I sell it, well, you don't know why I shipped a piece of beef to them. And that's the reason a whole lot of the farmers was kicking against this, and they're still kicking against it.
They said this is the poorest part of the county. So they brought it and dumped it on the poorest part of the county. So I'm one of the poor ones. So thank God to be poor. The landfill is right across here. I wish if I could pick up a rock and throw like I used to, I could throw a rock over in there. But I'm old now, I can't throw no rock. We're just here, and either we're gonna have to learn to live with it, or leave it, move out from under it. But now, where I'm going if I move with me?
It's 28 houses on County Road 1, 28. If 28 people are within seeing distance of the landfill, I'm sorry. But we're not going to turn away an industry like this because 28 people live on the same road and there has been no adverse effect to any of them.
You got some elected officials around there screaming, bring it on, bring it on. Of course, they don't live near the ash. You know, Commissioner Turner lives in Marion, not Uniontown.
If you ask the average person who is concerned about the environment, he will say he's either concerned about air quality or water quality or the quality of the dirt. But the people are a part of the definition of the environment. Now, who's looking out for the people quotient in this environment definition?
Around 2005, 2006, that was the time that there was a lot of anti-landfill sentiment. And I think it was a good way for people in Uniontown who felt like they weren't being heard to make a kind of show of strength.
As they mobilized, their strength grew. They collected signed petitions from 25% of the county. They filed a lawsuit. And in 2006, they got the Uniontown commissioners who supported the landfill voted out of office.
People did what they thought they were supposed to do. And then the guys they voted in ended up doing the same thing anyway. The landfill passed with a 5-0 vote.
You can fight, but some battles you know you can't win. I don't see where you just continue to fight it. Once something of that size and multitude gets started, it's going to take a lot to stop it.
Although the new commissioners were no match for Turner, the concerned citizens still thought they would win their lawsuit. But the judge ruled in favor of the landfill developers.
These companies come in, they promise jobs, they stay for a few years, and then they go bankrupt when they contaminate the groundwater and poison the local land. Now you have poisoning and pollution and poverty coexisting.
the opposition to this landfill is going to last as long as that stuff lasts in that landfill. How long is that? A long time.
Every Sunday morning, WJUS airs 2 shows with opposing views on the future of Perry County. Bamberg hosts the Concerned Citizens radio show at 7 a.m. Commissioner Turner follows him at 7:30.
Good morning, radio listening audience. 44 years ago, we started it with that march from Zion Church to the jail. Now we have the 44th president. History will record that the first Obama official holiday was celebrated in Perry County, Alabama. My.
Commissioner Turner created the holiday to commemorate the landmark election and once again thrust his county into the national spotlight.
Y'all enjoy it? And y'all ain't got no t-shirts in you. Ain't go there and buy some t-shirts.
The events only happened in Marion. Even an EPA workshop, which Turner advertised as a chance for coal ash opponents to openly speak out. But he scheduled it far away from the landfill and in the building bearing his family name. A health fair, a barbecue, and a classic car show were held at the same time. When no one showed up at the workshop, EPA representatives went to the people.
This looks like where everybody is over here. Hello. We're from EPA. We are having a workshop today, so we'd love to have you come over to the workshop. We're going to be starting probably about 20, 30 minutes from now. We have brought a special guest here to meet you guys. He's all the way from South Carolina. He is state representative.
2 hours later, the room was still empty. But one person did show up.
Where are my people?
I'm glad that you're here. I can't pay nobody to come over here and tell you to stop sending coal ash here because it's an environmental hazard. In the advertisement on my radio show, I said I am not going to be there to moderate, suppress, or do anything. Y'all gonna have your way with EPA. Look at the crowd.
I'm going to get out of here and go door to door and start talking to people. How about that?
We talked to some people on the square.
Well, good. Y'all go talk to them and pass out your stuff.
You talk to Mr. Turner, and it's nobody that has issues. So we want to find the people that actually do have issues.
She don't want nobody to talk about it, you know? When we know anything, it was dead.
I'm getting fed up, I'm fed up, and I'm not in the debate. It's a right side and it's a wrong side. We are on the right side. Would you stand up in front of Al Turner and tell him this is injustice on these folks down here?
I think, yes.
Can I answer that for you? When she sat there trying to have a meeting today to explain a lot of what's going on, he tried to embarrass her saying, hey, he orchestrated the whole thing to say, hey, there's no problem here.
If I make the rules, I'm gonna win. So I don't mind making the rules. Politics is a mean-spirited game for the tough-skinned. So if your skin's not tough, politics is not the place you need to be.
I keep on taping Albert Turner Jr. because you never know what that fool gonna say. If someone tick him off, somebody need to record that.
Today I want to talk some about the meeting that we had in Uniontown this past Thursday dealing with the landfill. One after another got up, had never been in Hat's gym before in their life, and then they had one or two handshake-head niggas.
Yeah, that's nothing I would normally say, but If I see people that are trying to hurt our community, that tries to infiltrate our community and try to play the Trojan horse, I'm going to call them out.
I've never seen or read about any governmental agency that operates like the Perry County Commission under the control of Albert Turner. That is the public humiliation of people, the confrontational flirtation with violence. There's no such thing as civil discourse in Perry County politics.
Royster brought a tape of the radio show to the commission chairman.
We was in the meeting listening at the radio and wham, something hit the door. I turned the tape off. He came in the door. Right at the time, he said on the tape, "A handful of ancient-headed niggers." And he came straight to me and he jumped down on me and grabbed my throat. And he was choking me so badly I could not breathe.
She pressed charges against Turner. And in court, his lawyers pled down the charges from assault to harassment.
An old man told me this: a bird fly and he fly and he fly, but that bird got to come down the wrist. And the same thing about Mr. Turner, he's flying now, but he got to land one day.
There's a feeling of powerlessness here that's been here for a long time. You know, if you're not one of the 5 guys who's pulling the strings on pretty much everything in the county, then what you say or do probably doesn't have much influence. And the landfill that has become an unwinnable battle to a lot of people.
After I seen my work, what I did, it looked like to me it was in vain. I said, well, hey, ain't no need of me following this up. They doing what they want to do. Well, then I stay at home and turn my TV on. Watch TV, I would rather than be sitting up there listening at old things over and over and over again.
It gets to be a grind. It gets tiresome. But I don't regret thinking that was the thing to do and starting down that road.
While the concerned citizens met to discuss next steps in Uniontown, up in Marion, Turner had a mass meeting to celebrate the Civil Rights March his father helped lead over 40 years ago.
Albert Turner gonna always look out for the people. I was born looking out for you. I'm gonna die looking out for you. Some of y'all think we done overcame. We still got a long ways to go. Y'all don't know the fights we had to fight to keep y'all thinking y'all done overcame.
We've got folks that want to hold themselves up as being examples of modern day civil rights leaders that have participated in abridging the civil rights, civic rights, and human rights of these people right down here. Ultimately, it's an issue that I'm concerned about of ultimate fairness. Ultimate fairness and justice. There's nothing fair and there's nothing just about how the people in this environment down here have been treated.
I don't know. We're just sitting in the boat now waiting and praying. That's all we can do. We're like the children of Israel. We're down at the Red Sea now, and Pharaoh is on our back. And the Lord will have to open up and let us cross.
Give us hope, give us inspiration, and give us the strength, Father, to continue to fight these things which afflict us so. These and all things we ask in Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
Amen.
Somebody gonna pay attention. Sooner or later, somebody's gonna pay attention. Because we don't know exactly what will be done or what direction that'll go, there's no reason for us to go to the house. No reason for us to be quiet. And I won't be. I won't be, and I promise that.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
The truth of the matter is, you know, if Albert Turner Jr. turns the county over to his son 20, 30 years from now, and it looks pretty much like now, what's the legacy? There is no legacy.
I do believe.
The civil rights movement has been for nothing. They gave you political power. They gave you nothing more. They gave you no economic opportunities, no better education, no better health.
Amen. Amen. We'll see you all on tomorrow.
That's no legacy to leave.
Yeah.